Hello everyone, it's Miss Gonzalez-Clark again. We are going to continue working with fractions. However, things are a little different with this problem that we're about to work on. With this problem, we're not reading a story or some type of word problem. We're actually creating the word problem. But after we create the word problem, we're also going to create a model, which we've done in the past, to solve the problem. So the situation we're in reads like this. Write a story problem using 1/3 of 24. So when I think about what it's asking us to do, write a story problem using 1/3 of 24, I'm thinking that we have an amount of 24 of something, a bulk of something, 24 being our whole, and then within that whole, we have to determine how much is 1/3 of that 24. How much is 1/3 of that whole? So I have to, and you have to, create a story word problem that is going to match the information here. So I am going to create a word problem based off of something that I just saw on TV. I was watching something about baseball. And my story problem is going to involve baseballs. Okay? So this is what I'm going to do. My word problem is going to be Caleb had 24 baseballs. Oops. Baseballs. What if I give up now? Sorry about that. Okay. So that 24 baseballs is representing this whole of 24. So now I'll continue. 1/3 of those baseballs are from the Yankees. How many baseballs are Yankees baseballs? Okay, so there's our word problem. So we have Caleb had 24 baseballs, which is our total amount here. And then 1/3 of that whole, 1/3 of that 24 are baseballs that are represented by the Yankees. So now what we need to do is find out how much is 1/3 of 24. Okay, so we are going to use a model to represent this word problem. So Caleb had 24 baseballs. So I'm going to use an array to represent the data that's inside this problem. So I'm going to make an array that is going to have 24 baseballs in it. So let me switch my color up. Sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so here is my whole, which is represented by 24 baseballs. Now I need to decide how much is 1/3 of this whole. How much is 1/3 of this baseball? Okay, I'm sorry, of these baseballs. So again, our denominator represents the amount of parts, even parts that make up the whole. So I am going to break up the 24 baseballs into 3 even parts. So I have 24, and I'm going to think, what is 24 divided by 3? 24 divided by 3 is 8. So I need to make sure that each of my groups have 8 baseballs in each. So here's one group. I'll use a different color for another group. Here's another group of 8. Didn't mean to cover that one. And then here is another group of 8, and I'll use a different color for that. So we just took our whole of 24 and we divided it into the 3 groups. Each group has an equal amount of baseballs in it. So each group has 8 baseballs in it. Now we need to find out how much is 1/3 of 24, because that's how many baseballs are Yankee baseballs. So here's 1/3, here is 1/3, here is 1/3. We only need to concentrate on one of them. So by looking at just one of them, I'm just putting an X here so that we know we're looking at one of them. We look inside and we know that there are 8 baseballs in there. So that means 8 of the baseballs in Caleb's collection are Yankee baseballs. Okay, now if you wanted to extend this problem, something that you can ask is, how many baseballs are in 2/3 of his collection? Or how many baseballs are not Yankee baseballs? There are a lot of different things that you can do with this problem to extend it. So let's actually do that. Let's try that. So we know that 1/3 of the baseballs are Yankee baseballs, and we know that that's equal to 8. But let's say the rest of the baseballs are Red Sox baseballs. So then how many baseballs would that represent? So 1/3 of the baseballs were Yankees, the rest are Red Sox. So that means 1/3 and 1/3 gives us 2/3. So 2/3 of these baseballs are Red Sox. So now we're going to count the amount of baseballs in these 2/3, and then that will tell us how many baseballs are there. So we have 8 here, and we have 8 here. So we know that 8 plus 8 gives us 16. So that means 16 of the baseballs are Red Sox baseballs. So what we did today is we looked at a problem, but instead of reading a word problem, which is what we're usually used to, we actually had to create the word problem, and then we solved our word problem right after. And we made a connection. We made an extension and added to our problem so that we can push our thinking.